We tend to think of corporate security like this giant digital fortress, right? But what if the biggest threat isn't some bad guy trying to smash down the front gate? What if they're already inside, walking around with the key you gave them? That's exactly what we're going to dive into today, the massive hidden risk that comes with your trusted partners.
Okay, I know. It sounds like the beginning of a really weird joke. On one side, you've got this massive nationwide retailer. On the other, a local HVAC company. Seriously, what could they possibly have in common? Well, let me tell you, the answer is no joke at all. That's right. The thing that connects them is one of the most infamous and expensive data breaches in modern history. We're talking about a complete catastrophe that affected tens of millions of people and served as a brutal wake-up call to the entire business world about where the real dangers are hiding.
So, to really get how something like this could even happen, we need to wrap our heads around the main idea here. It's all about something called third-party vendor risk, which is basically like a hidden digital door you didn't even know existed.
So what does that actually mean? Well, think about it this way. Anytime you hire an outside company for anything, IT, marketing, heck, even just fixing the air conditioning, and you give them access to your network, you are now taking on their security risks too. It's like you're hooking your security chain to their chain. If their link breaks, yours does too.
And this isn't some rare fringe thing. I mean, just think about all the outside partners a typical company uses. Software services, cloud storage, payment processors, maintenance crews. The modern business is basically built on this giant, complex web of partnerships, and every single one of them is a potential way in for trouble.
So, how does this actually play out in the real world? Well, let's wind the clock back to 2013 and take a look at the story of that retail giant Target, who, at the time, was absolutely at the top of its game.
And we're not talking about some small-time shop here. This was a behemoth, a household name with thousands of stores, millions of customers every single day. It was late in the year, and they were gearing up for the holiday shopping rush, the most important time of the year. From the outside, everything looked perfectly normal.
And that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? A company this huge, with sophisticated cybersecurity teams, spending millions on defense, they were ready for a direct assault. So how did the walls of the fortress just crumble?
Okay, this is where it gets wild. The story of how this all went down, it's less like a boring tech report and more like something out of a spy movie. And it all started with that completely unlikely point of entry we talked about.
So get that picture out of your head. Some hacker in a hoodie slamming away at a keyboard in a dark basement, trying to break through the main firewall. Nope, that's not what happened here. The real attack was way, way sneakier than that.
And there it is, the weak link in the chain. The hidden door wasn't in Target's massive digital fortress at all. It was in the systems of a trusted partner, a small company they hired to manage their climate control systems, who they had given network access to so they could do their job.
The attack itself was almost laughably simple. It started with a basic phishing email sent to an employee at the HVAC company. Someone clicked the bad link and boom, the hackers stole that vendor's login credentials for Target's network. With those keys in hand, they didn't have to break in, they just walked right through the digital front door. And from there, it was a clear path right to the point-of-sale systems, the cash registers.
So they were in. But what happened next? Whew, the damage was just staggering. Let's actually look at the numbers here, because they are truly breathtaking.
40 million. Let that sink in. That's how many credit and debit card accounts were stolen. And this all went down right in the middle of Black Friday and the Christmas shopping season. It was the absolute worst-case scenario at the absolute worst possible time.
And this number, $202 million, that was just the direct costs they reported in the first couple of years. We're talking bank settlements, legal fees, fines. The real cost, when you factor in everything else, is estimated to be way, way higher. But honestly, the money, as huge a number as it is, wasn't even the worst part. As this quote gets at, the most devastating cost was the complete shattering of customer trust. A brand that took decades to build was tarnished almost overnight. How do you even begin to put a price tag on that?
So, what's the big lesson we can learn from this corporate horror story? Well, it's a huge one, and it really changes the way we have to think about security today. It all boils down to one idea: shared responsibility.
See, it's all about a fundamental shift in perspective. It's no longer enough to just think, our walls are strong, we're good. The new reality, the hard lesson learned here, is that your security perimeter doesn't end at your own office door. It extends to every single partner you work with. You truly are only as secure as your weakest link.
So what does this actually mean for any business out there? Well, a few key things. First, you have to really vet your vendor security. Don't just take their word for it. Second, don't give them the keys to the whole kingdom. Limit their access to only what they absolutely need. Third, you've got to watch what they're doing on your network. And finally, and this is the big one, you have to start treating their security as an extension of your own. Because, well, it is.
And all of this leaves us with one final critical question you've got to ask yourself. It's not just about digital keys, but about the trust and the access you grant every single day. So the question is, do you really know who's holding your keys? Because as we've just seen, the person who fixes your air conditioning might just hold the power to bring your entire empire crashing down.